Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Start off this hour with comedy. Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve in an episode from Waterman's second season as the Big Man. This from September 5th, 1951. Leroy buys a car, and that question mark is very appropriate.
The Kraft Foods Company presents Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve and his family had a fine summer. His nephew Leroy went to camp. Marjorie, Bronco, and the twins vacationed at Bidewee Lodge. Bertie visited her folks, and the water commissioner went fishing.
Marjorie, have you seen these pictures of the fish I caught?
At least a dozen times, Unky.
Bertie, have you seen these snapshots? Take a look.
My, ain't that something?
Yeah, of course, the big one got away.
Yeah, the big one got away from me, too.
You know? I didn't know you were fishing this summer, Bertie.
Yes, and I almost caught one. This fish was over 6 feet tall and weighed 200 pounds.
Yeah, now, Bertie.
Oh, Bertie's cute.
Well, here comes Leroy down the walk.
That boy sure has grown.
Have you ever seen anybody so tanned, Unky?
Yeah, I don't know if it's tan or the sun just melted his freckles.
Well, Cap was good for him. He seems to have settled down a lot.
Well, the association with older boys was just what he needed. Little Leroy is mellowing.
Yes, sir. I ain't heard a door slam since he came home.
Oh, my goodness.
Hi, I'm sorry through the window. Boy, am I glad you're home.
Leroy, what are you so excited about?
I just came from Piggy's. He's got a car.
Your car?
A real car. His dad's going to teach him to drive.
He is?
What kind of a car is it, Leroy?
It's orange with black polka dots.
Yo.
Can I have a call on Kelly? How about a Kelly, Uncle?
Leroy, you've got no business with the car. Ride your bike.
But I gotta have a car. Piggy's got one. You ought to see Piggy's. Piggy's got one.
Leroy, you can't have a car. You're too young.
But, Unc, I can get a permit. That's what Piggy's getting.
No. That's final, my boy. When I think you're old enough to drive, I'll teach you in the family car.
Gosh.
I didn't learn to drive until I was 18, Leroy.
So what? You're a girl. I'm different. I can drive like crazy.
That's what I'm afraid of. Now, let's drop the car. Have you seen this picture of my fish?
Fish, Mish. I don't want to see him anymore.
Yeah, all right.
Gosh, Unc. How can a good uncle like you turn a little kid down on the only thing he's ever wanted?
No, Leroy, don't try that approach.
Well, Piggy's dad bought him a car. You're not good to me. I got a bad uncle.
Leroy.
Well?
Leroy, that's not true.
Leroy, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You got the best uncle you'll ever have.
Yeah? He won't let me have the only thing I ever wanted. Piggy's got a car, and look at me. I got nothing.
Leroy.
You're not good to me.
Leroy, I try to be good to you. Now let's dry up and see if we can't figure this thing out.
How?
Well, let's look at it this way. If you really want a car of your very own, you'll enjoy it more if you save your nickels and pennies and buy it yourself.
Yeah?
And by that time, no doubt you'll be old enough to drive it.
Oh, boy, you mean I can really have a car?
Yep, and you save enough money, my boy.
Keen, I can't wait to tell Piggy.
Leroy.
Yeah?
You do think I'm a good uncle, don't you?
You're swell, Unc. Oh, boy, a car.
That boy sure has settled down.
Well, he'll be settled before he saves enough money to buy a car. Gildersleeve, you're not only a good uncle, you're smart.
Bertie, we'll have to send these drapes out to be cleaned.
Yes, and I'll get them down right after lunch.
All right, and I'll clean the windows. Uh-oh. Bertie.
Yes, ma'am?
Look out in the backyard.
Is something wrong?
Leroy's outside with an old car.
Land alive. How do you suppose that boy got that thing in the yard without us hearing it?
He must have pushed it. Anything that dilapidated wouldn't run.
Sounds like he's dilapidating it some more.
He's nailing on a fender.
Well, if he hits it one more lick, that thing's going to fall apart.
I wonder where he picked that up.
Listen to that horn.
Oh, isn't it awful? I'm going out and make him get rid of it before Uncle comes home.
That Leroy, where'd he get enough money to buy a car? All he had this morning was $5.
Hello, everybody. I'm home.
Uh-oh.
Bertie!
Mr. Gildersleeve, we didn't expect you home this time of day.
Well, I thought I'd come home for lunch. And incidentally, see if Leroy's forgotten about wanting a car.
Oh, he's forgotten about wanting a car.
Good. Yo, sandwiches. Does one of them have my name on it, Bertie?
Yes, sir. Why don't you sit down and just pitch in?
Yeah, fine. Where are Marjorie and Leroy?
Oh, they're around.
I felt a little sorry for Leroy this morning.
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't dream of letting that boy have a car.
No, sir.
I do say so, Bertie. I handled the situation very adroitly.
Yes, sir.
It'll be a cold day in August when Leroy saves enough money to buy a car.
Well, August is gone, but sometimes we have cold days in September. Mr. Gildersleeve, that Leroy's a fine boy.
Yes, he is, Bertie.
There's one thing you got to say for Leroy is never give you no trouble.
That's right.
Up to now.
What's he say?
No, sir, that good little boy never has give you no trouble up to now.
Bertie, what's this all about?
Nothing. That poor good little boy never has give you no trouble.
Yeah, I know that,
Mr.
Bertie.
Gildersleeve, you know what that good little boy never has give you?
Yes, Bertie.
That's right. He never has give you no trouble. Up to now.
Is that a car in the backyard? Oops. It is a car. Leroy, I want to talk to you. Yeah, I hate to go home this evening and face Leroy. Poor little fellow. After spending his savings for that heap, I hated to have to tell him to get rid of it. Sometimes you have to be a bad uncle to be a good one.
Gildy, wait up.
Oh, hello, Judge.
Beautiful evening for strolling, isn't it?
You hadn't noticed.
Well, Commissioner looks depressed. What's the matter, Gildy? Didn't you get to turn off anybody's water today?
Judge, I'm in no mood for levity.
Oh? Sorry, Gildy. You do look troubled.
Yeah, I am. I had to go back on my word to Leroy.
Why, Gildy?
Well, it couldn't be helped. He wanted a car.
Car? Well, he isn't quite ready for a car.
Yeah, that's hard to explain to a boy. I finally told him he could get one when he saved up enough money. I didn't know he had $5 left over from his vacation.
$5? What kind of a car can you buy these days for $5?
Well, everybody likes Leroy. The fellow at Murphy's used car lot let him have the one that was holding up the fence.
That car? Why, it's been out in the rain and snow for years. But they just keep it around to make the other used cars look good.
Well, Leroy has it now. Yeah, I hated to do it. But I gave him until dark to get it off the property. What do you mean?
If I may say so, Gildy, I think you've acted rashly.
Me? The Judge, a car like that is dangerous.
Why? It'll never run, and when Leroy finds that out, he'll lose interest in it.
Well, I refuse to take that chance, Judge.
Gildy, you're being a knucklehead.
Horace!
Instead of thwarting the boy, be a good fellow. Play along. All you have to do is convince him the car won't run, then you'll have no trouble disposing of it.
Well, Shh. There he is now, Judge. Look, between the houses.
He's trying to push it out into the alley. All alone.
Little Leroy. Right, George, Judge, I'll try it your way. My way is breaking my heart.
You'll never regret it, Gildy.
Come on, Horace. Come on, hurry. Leroy!
Hi, Unc.
Evening, Leroy.
Hi, Judge.
Well, my boy, I see you're busy with your car.
Yeah, I'm trying to get off the property like you told me, Unc. The sun isn't down yet. I've still got half an hour.
No, wait a minute, Leroy. Wait a minute. Let's take a look at this car.
What kind of a car is it, Leroy?
All kinds, I guess.
It's a rather handsome car.
Oh, it's no good. I'm ready to get rid of it.
You are, Leroy?
Unc, I'm going to take the spark plugs out and give them to you.
Oh?
One of them might work.
Well, thank you, my boy. But...
Judge, could you use 15 cents worth of gas?
Well, Leroy...
15 cents worth of gas and not even a sputter. Will you help me push it out in the alley with the rest of the cans?
Are you sure you've had enough of it, Leroy?
I guess so.
Well, I want it to be your decision. But, of course, if it won't run.
Nah. Piggy and I worked all day trying to get it started.
You're too bad. Yeah, I decided to let you keep it if it worked. Hadn't I, Judge?
Yes, indeed.
Unc, you mean you'd have taught me to drive it and everything?
Yeah, that's what I had in mind, my boy. Now that you've decided to junk it, I guess there's nothing else to do.
Well, gosh. Let's give the crank one more twist.
Give the crank one more twist?
Sure, with a good man like you on the crank, Unc, it might start.
Yeah, well...
Go ahead, Gildy. Go along with the boy.
Yes. Well, it's a waste of time, my boy. But I want you to be convinced. Switch on the ignition, Judge.
Oh, boy.
Where is it?
You just hook that wire to the battery under the hood. I'll do it.
What a car.
Contact, Unc.
Contact? I haven't cranked a car in quite a while. Leroy, you're right. It won't work.
Okay, Unc.
Give it one more spin, Gildy.
But, Judge...
Like a good fellow.
You all right.
Oh, boy, it's running.
Yes, Judge, grab the wheel. Take it out of gear.
Where is the gear?
Hurry, Judge, it's pushing him against the fence.
Climb out over the radiator, Gildy.
Yeah, I can't. Ouch! Who planted this rose bush behind me?
September 5th, 1951, The Great Gildersleeve on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to MediShare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And MediShare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. MediShare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of The Great Gildersleeve, starring Willard Waterman, September 5th, 1951.
Well, where Leroy is concerned, the Great Gildersleeve is an old softy. But he never would have promised his nephew to teach him to drive the old car the boy brought home if he'd had any idea the thing would run. It did.
Hey, Unc, let's take her out on the highway and open her up.
Leroy, can't you wait until I finish my dinner?
What's left to eat?
Well,
More coffee, Mr. Gildersleeve?
do you have more, Bertie?
Heck, he's had 6 cups. Come on, Unc, quit stalling.
Leroy, it's dark.
Yeah, and the car hasn't any headlamps.
We'll take it out under the street light and drive it around in circles.
No, Leroy.
But gosh, you promised. I got Judge Hooker for a witness.
You old goat. So I made a silly promise.
You certainly did.
Well, everybody makes mistakes. Don't they, Bertie?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, when you feel a mistake has been made, the thing to do is hold a meeting about it. That's the democratic way.
What's going on here?
Well, I'm merely putting it up to everybody, Leroy. We're all interested in your welfare. We all have a vote. So what'll we do? The question is, should Leroy be allowed to drive a car? Margie?
Well, the whole idea is ridiculous. Leroy's too young to drive.
Marge!
Yeah, that's one vote. Bertie?
It ain't up to me, but I second the motion, Leroy.
Oh, for corn's sake. I'm being framed.
Now, Leroy, the majority rules.
Okay. Let me put something to a vote. Marge, should Unc go back on his promise to a little kid?
Well, as a matter of fact, you shouldn't, Unky.
Hot diggity. Bertie?
This ain't up to me either. But as a matter of fact, he should.
Now I'm being framed. Not many people out this early in the morning. Just me and the birds. And I had to get out before Leroy got on that car kick again. Yeah, well, I can eat breakfast at Peavy's. He has the worst coffee. Hello, Peavy.
Well, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you this morning?
Well, I thought I'd have breakfast with you, Peavy.
Oh, you can't have breakfast with me.
I can't?
I had breakfast with Mrs. Peavy.
Oh, my goodness.
We had stewed apricots, bacon, soft-boiled eggs, cinnamon toast with parquet, and coffee.
Sounds great, Peavy. Serve me the same.
No, we don't serve that here. We just serve it at home.
Well, what have you got beside that coffee?
Let me see. You see, we don't have many calls for breakfast. Our big rush hour is at lunchtime. You care for a salami sandwich?
No, not for breakfast, Peavy. That's the worst suggestion I ever heard.
Well, if you don't like it here, why don't you eat at home?
Well, I couldn't this morning, Peavy. I left early so I wouldn't bump into Leroy.
I wouldn't want to bump into him either if he's driving that car.
Yeah, have you seen it, Peavy?
No, but the judge told me about it. But a boy can have a lot of fun tinkering with a car. I remember the happy hours I spent tinkering with my first car.
You?
I guess I was the biggest tinkerer in town.
Yes. Yeah, Peavy, I guess I have to drink some of that coffee.
Very well.
Yeah, you can give me that salami sandwich, too.
Very well.
Peavy, I'm in a terrible spot. I can't teach Leroy to drive that old rattletrap.
Well, from the way the judge described it, I'm surprised you could get license plates for it.
License plates? I don't have those yet.
Police Chief Gates has a drive-on now to get unsafe cars off the streets.
He has?
They say he's cracking right down.
Say, if I went down for license plates and phoned the chief to be there waiting, he'd probably condemn the car.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, and if Chief Gates condemns the car, Leroy will feel all right about it. He's a great admirer of the chief. By George, Peavy, I'm glad I came in.
So am I. That'll be 10 cents for the coffee and 25 for the salami.
Well, I'll pay it gladly. And Peavy, you serve the best breakfast in town.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Here he comes now, Marge.
Uncle Mort, where have you been?
Hello, Marjorie. Leroy.
Unc, I've been waiting so we can take the car out on the road.
Now, Leroy, there's a little matter about this car we've overlooked.
Yeah? What now?
Well, it just occurred to me that we don't have license plates.
The heck we don't. Look.
But, Leroy, they're old.
Yeah, a little rusty. Yeah, let's see just how old they are. 1831? No, 1931.
You can't use those, Leroy.
Well, let's drive down and get some new ones.
Yeah, capital idea. That's exactly why I came back home. Marjorie, will you drive Leroy down in the family car, and I'll follow you.
All right, Unky.
Why can't I ride down in my car? Why can't I take the wheel?
Yeah, Leroy, it takes an experienced driver to handle a car like this. If we get the plates, when we get the plates, you can ride with me.
Details.
Yeah, all right. Connect the wire under the hood, my boy, and I'll give her a spin.
Okay.
And Leroy, this time be sure the car is out of gear.
Okay, she said.
All right, stand back, Marjorie.
Be careful, Uncle Moore.
Don't worry.
What's going on out there?
Unky's going to start the car. Come on out, Bertie.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
You out of gear, Leroy?
Out of gear.
Yeah, all right. East, use, east, you, east, you, east, you, east, you.
Hot dogs, listen to that motor purr.
Leroy, put that piece of burlap over those springs so I can sit down behind the wheel.
Sure.
And we'll hear the conclusion of the Great Gildersleeve from September 5th, 1951. And we'll hear from Fibber McGee and Molly from September 5th, 1954, when Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues. But first, some very important messages from your favorite station.
Whether you're taking your pets on the road or a walk around the block, you need to be aware of heat stroke. Hi, I am Dr. Jose Arce, immediate past president of the American Veterinary Medical Association. It's important that pets get out and enjoy the warm weather and fresh air, but here are some reminders to help keep your pets safe in the heat. Tune into the day's forecast to see how hot it will be. Limit exercise on hot days or schedule walks earlier or later on the day when it's cooler. If outside, stay on the grass instead of the hot pavement. Make sure your pet has unlimited fresh water and access to shade. Never leave your pet in a closed vehicle, and leave your pet at home in air conditioning when you go out. If you see signs of heat strokes in your pet, such as excessive panting, drooling, unsteadiness, or abnormal gum and tongue color, call your veterinarian or nearest emergency clinic. For more info on summer pet safety, visit avma.org. That's avma.org.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of The Great Gildersleeve, starring Willard Waterman, September 5th, 1951.
Unc, when you get her on the street, give her the gun. Hey, do you think you can get a traffic ticket from Chief Gates for speeding?
Well, I might run into the chief. He's anxious to see your car.
Yeah, wait till he hears this horn.
Leroy, lay off the horn.
Leroy, coming. Goodbye, Unky. Good luck.
She sounds like I'm not coming back.
Look back, Leroy. How's Uncle doing?
He's about half a block behind us.
Well, he'll catch us at this stoplight.
Here he comes. Hey, he's passing us.
He's going right through the light.
Leroy, what happened to the brakes?
Brakes? What about the brakes, Leroy? Oh, brother, I was so busy trying to start it, I didn't think about stopping it.
Very wise of Gildy to have you here, Chief Gates. Leroy has great respect for the badge of authority.
Well, Judge, I'm anxious to see Leroy's car. Say, here comes Mr. Gildersleeve down the pike now.
Look at Gildy bounce.
Well, he doesn't slow down for the bumps, does he? Pull over here, Commissioner, in the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm pulling, Chief.
Well, stop it right here. Stop!
Yeah, I can. Hey, whoa!
Well, He went right on by.
Well, he's circling the lot.
Show off.
Now, Commissioner, quit clowning. Stop the car. No brake.
Turn off the motor, Gilda.
Can't turn it off. The connection's under the hood.
That's right, it is.
Hey, Chief! Judge, hasn't he got it stopped yet?
Not yet, Leroy.
I presume he'll have to keep circling until he runs out of gas.
Well, I wonder how long that'll take.
Not long. Leroy only has 15 cents worth of gas.
Gosh, I thought we were going for a ride. I put in another gallon.
This can't run much longer. How do I get into these things? At last, it's dead. Almost dead.
Nice going, Unc. I bet you got 30 miles to the gallon.
Yes.
Commissioner Gildersleeve.
Well, here it is, Chief.
Yeah? Where do we get license plates?
Well, Leroy, you're a fine lad, and I hate to disappoint you.
Yeah?
But I'm afraid the city of Summerfield will have to condemn this car.
My car? What's wrong with it?
I really haven't time to go into that, son.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my boy. But this would have to happen sooner or later.
I'm afraid your uncle's right, Leroy.
Well, if you say so, Chief. You're the law.
Yes, I'm the law. Leroy, how much did you pay for this car?
$5?
Well, I've been thinking. We need a car like this as an exhibit.
Exhibit, Chief?
Yes, as a horrible example. To show people what not to drive. Leroy, if you're interested, the department will give you $10 for the car.
$10? Oh, boy, do you hear that, Unc?
Isn't that wonderful, Leroy?
I'll say $10. Now I can buy 2 cars.
Leroy! Well, Leroy, how does it feel to be a man of means? $10 is a lot of money.
Oh, it's keen, Unc. And the chief even let me keep the best part of the car.
You know, kind of a little souvenir. Something to remember it by.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, everybody's happy. And the house is quiet again. Oh, what's that?
The horn. That's the part of the car I kept. Every hour I can remember my first automobile.
What do you mean, every hour?
I hooked it up to the electric clock. See? 8 o'clock.
Oh, my goodness. Good night, folks.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Willard Waterman. The show is written by Paul West, John Elliott, and Andy White, and is partially transcribed. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Mary Lee Robb, Lillian Randolph, Ken Christie, Earl Ross, and Dick LeGrand. This is John Heaston saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
September 5th, 1951, The Great Gildersleeve on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we head to 79 Wistful Vista and see what's going on in the household of Fibber McGee and Molly. This episode was originally broadcast September 5th, 1954.
It's time for Fibber McGee and Molly. Sundays through Thursdays, NBC brings you Fibber, McGee, and Molly transcribed. The show is written by Phil Leslie and Ralph Goodman and directed by Max Hutto. Fibber and Molly will be with you in a minute. Each of our thousands of GIs stationed in remote areas all over the world has someone back home whose welfare is his chief concern. And when that someone is faced with a problem, her man in uniform is as close as the nearest Red Cross headquarters. It's there at Red Cross that a volunteer social welfare aide receives the call for help. The call that may come from the faraway serviceman or from his family here at home. And it's through the efforts of this same volunteer aide that the problem is solved. A problem that may involve a late allotment, sickness, inadequate housing, or pressing bills to be paid. As a Red Cross volunteer, you can help form an understanding link between the serviceman and his family in time of need. Your Red Cross needs you to help perform these direct personal services for our armed forces. Join the Red Cross Volunteer Social Welfare Aides. Call your Red Cross today. You'll find the number of your local Red Cross office in the telephone directory. Mr. and Mrs. McGee of 79 Wistful Vista took a short trip this weekend to one of the scenic spots of the state, Twin Rock Falls. They came home late this afternoon to miss the Labor Day traffic, and here they are now, discussing what must have been an interesting trip.
237 gallons, Molly. Think of it.
I have.
237 gallons of water comes tumbling over that Twin Rock Falls every minute.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine that. 237 gallons of water plunging down through space, smashing against the rocks below, a distance of 318 feet straight down.
I know, McGee. I was there with you, remember?
Oh, yeah, sure, I know.
The man who conducted the tour gave me the same folder he gave you.
Well, it sure was a wonderful trip.
Just beautiful. Majestic Point was my favorite spot. Goodness, you could see for just miles and miles.
Yep, that tremendous expanse of blue sure reminded me of a very dear friend of ours in a size 44 serge suit named Doc Gamble, whom I wish was right here right now so as I could show him the pictures we took and tell him about that Twin Rock Falls. Can you imagine that? 237 gallons every minute plunging over that...
Oh, no, not again. Come in.
I hope that's Doc, because I'm dying to tell somebody about Twin Rock Falls. That's the prettiest...
Hello, Miss McGee. Hi, Mr. McGee.
Well, hello, Lester. Come on in.
Hi, Les. I'm glad to see you, boy.
Well, thank you, Mr. McGee. I hope I'm not disturbing you folks.
Not at all, Les. Not at all. Our bags are all unpacked and put away anyway. We got a few souvenir snapshots.
Oh, you folks been on a trip too, have you?
Have we been on a trip? Wait till Two?
Did you and Sally go somewhere over the weekend?
We sure did, Miss McGee, and I'm glad you asked me because we just had us a dandy time.
I bet you did. But did you ever hear of Twin Rock Falls, the most beautiful spot in the state?
Twin Rock Falls? You mean that big state park way over there on the far side of the state?
That's where we went. Fabulous spot, wasn't it, Molly?
Beautiful, Lester.
Oh, we didn't go anywhere as near as exciting as that. No, ours was just a little trip, just to sort of get away for a couple of days.
Yeah. Well, sir, this place
we just went to a little kind of dude ranch over in Morgan County. We like horses, me and Sally.
Yeah. Well, it's like I was trying to say, Les, if you want to see something real exciting sometime, Twin Rock Falls, that's the place to go.
Well, nothing really to see where we went. Had a little rodeo up there on Saturday, though. It sort of broke up today.
Oh? Well, you should have been with us. There was a man with a kind of a streetcar conductor's hat on, see, and he took us on a tour of the falls. There's a big railing all around it, and
Of course, Sally and I, we got in a little riding ourselves, too. Well, they got a swell trail up there along Chippewanee Creek.
Show him the picture of that railing, kiddo. You know, the one where I make believe I'm falling over the edge?
You mean the time your foot slipped and the guy just caught you before you...
Yeah, that's the one. I was horsing around up there, Les, and Molly snapped the picture
Say,
while I was...
we got some dandy pictures, too. I should have brought them over.
Oh, that's okay. This Twin Rock Falls, Les...
It must be a beautiful place. I tell you, I'll run go get those pictures for you. There's a real cute one of Sally feeding a lump of sugar to a colt. And there's one of me sitting on a stuffed bucking bronco.
Yeah, but let me tell you about this...
Wait till you see that picture. It's a kill. I'll be right back.
Yeah, but wait.
He said he'd be back, McGee.
Back for what? Be back to beat our ears off about a stupid trip he took to a dad-dreaded dull dude ranch while I'm busting with interesting information about Twin Rock Falls?
Well, I suppose he and Sally enjoyed
What
their...
a spot, Molly. Just think of it. 237 gallons of water every minute comes over them falls.
I know. I was there.
I'm getting a little... 237 gallons, plunging down through space, smashing against the rocks below, a distance of 318 feet.
Come in.
Who rang? The doorbell ring?
No, but somebody better come in soon for you to tell this to. My ears are starting to ring.
You don't know how glad I am to see you, Wimple. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Come in.
Well, thank you.
Do sit down, Mr. Wimple.
Yeah.
Here, let me take your straw hat and umbrella.
My, it's nice to get a warm welcome like this. So many people just say, "Oh, Wimple."
Believe me, it's a real pleasure to see a nice, quiet, polite type guy like you, Wimp, after a noisy, boring character like that Les Nelson next door.
Oh? I always thought Lester was rather...
Let me ask you something, Wimp. How would you feel about a guy that when you're trying to tell him about a fascinating experience you had, this guy keeps butting in, just horning in all the time with some dull yarn of his own?
Oh, I think that's just terrible.
Right.
Extremely uncouth.
Betcha.
I always listen politely to other people's experiences, and I feel that if one has the least trace of common politeness in one will never interrupt while another is talking.
He's your man, McGee.
Yes, sir. A guy that's a good listener will always have a lot of friends, Wimp.
Right you are. That's why you have so many friends, Mr. McGee.
Me?
Him.
And that's why I rushed over here to tell you what happened to me this afternoon at the airport.
Huh? You? Yeah, but I mean,
I rode a jet airplane.
What? A jet?
I never dreamed when I went out to watch the planes come in that an old schoolmate of mine was now a colonel in the Air Force and that he would say, "Wallace, hop in." We blasted off at 0200 and headed right out.
I think I'll go make a pot of coffee. I thought that Wimple would never go home. My gosh, what's so fabulous about riding in a jet plane?
Well, I think that's a pretty exciting experience.
Lots of people ride jet planes every day of their life. Did he fly over Twin Falls in that plane? No.
No, they just...
Did he stand at the brink of Twin Falls and watch 237 gallons of water go over there every minute, plunging through space, smashing on the rocks below, a distance of 318 feet to the...
Oh, McGee, look. Look who's getting out of his car out in front.
Huh?
Dr. Gamble.
Good old Doc. He's the guy I've been waiting for. Hi, Docky, old boy, oh boy. Come in.
Hi, McGee. I'm glad to see you, son. How was the trip?
Oh, just great, Doc, just great.
Sit down, Doctor. McGee's dying to tell you about it.
And I'm anxious to hear about it. That's why I came over here. I'd like to go there myself sometime. Tell me all about it, son.
You promise you won't interrupt?
Not a word, except maybe an occasional wow. You got snapshots there, too? Let's see them.
Oh, this is the moment we've been waiting for.
Yeah, hand me the snapshots, will you, Molly? Thanks. Now, I'll start with this one, on top of the falls. You see us there, Doc?
Wow.
That's where we were, way up on top of that cliff, right on the edge of the falls.
Great.
I was standing...
way up there where it looks tremendous.
I'll get the phone. You go ahead, McGee.
It is tremendous, Doc. We took the guided tour, you see. I got the statistics right here in this folder. And you won't believe this, but every single minute there's 237 gallons of water goes over that falls, plunging into space, smashing down on the rocks below, a distance of 318 feet to the... Who is it, Molly? If it's for me, tell him I'm...
It isn't for you, dearie.
Good. Well, as I was saying, Doc, 318...
It's for Dr. Gamble.
Oh, for the...
The Ritz Vista Hotel, Doctor. Case of the mumps. Want you to come right over.
Don't they have a resident physician?
That's who it is. Says he feels awful.
Well, tell him to go to bed. I'll be right over. Oh, I'm sorry about this, McGee. I did want to hear all about your... McGee? Where'd he go?
I don't know. He just gathered up the pictures and walked out the door. McGee! McGee!
And the very first one I thought about when we come back from this weekend trip was you. I brought the pictures over so as I could tell you all about it. You do want to hear this story, don't you?
Oh, sure, Mr. McGee. I love stories.
Good.
And nobody can tell stories as good as you, I betcha.
Yeah.
Where is this wonderful, exciting place you and Miss McGee went to?
Twin Rock Falls, Teeny. It's the greatest...
Twin Rock Falls?
Mm-hmm.
You mean that great big falls where the water goes plunging into space at the rate of 237 gallons every minute, smashing down on the rocks below a distance of 318 feet?
Yeah, and that's the place. You mean...
My daddy took me there one time. You wait here, and I'll get our picture album. I got a wonderful shot of my daddy leaning over the railing like he's about to fall over.
I'm sure glad we got off the highways before that Labor Day crowd started coming home, Molly.
So am I.
It says here in the paper that enough cars are on the new freeway this weekend to reach from one county line to the other in a solid row, bumper to bumper, 3 lanes wide.
Think of that.
And here's a picture to prove it. Look at that. Them cars haven't moved since Friday night.
Good. Say, you know, nobody gets hurt that way.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, all.
Fibber McGee and Molly is an NBC Radio Network production transcribed, with Bill Thompson as Mr. Wimple, Arthur Q. Bryan as Dr. Gamble, and Robert Easton as Les. Oh, going to be home Labor Day? Good, so are Mr. and Mrs. McGee, and a friend of theirs named Gregory. We think you'll find Gregory a captivating character, and we hope you'll be with us again tomorrow night for Fibber McGee and Molly.
Gotta tell you that these quarter-hour shows of Fibber McGee and Molly boil the stories down very nicely so that in a quarter hour you can get as much laughs as you used to get in the full half-hour shows. The only thing you miss is Kingsman Quartet and Harlow Wilcox peddling Johnson Wax. You know, you don't miss a lot. From September 5th, 1954, Fibber McGee and Molly, right here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks so much for making us a part of your day. Would you thank this radio station and support their advertisers? It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite radio station. Now, if you miss a day here, you don't have to miss a single show. Each and every one of our shows are available through our webpage, classicradio.stream. At classicradio.stream, you can stream our shows on demand. You can find a list of podcast applications and sites where you can download our shows. You can also learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can find our social media links. You can also contact me there at classicradio.stream. And if you like what we do, you can help us acquire brand new collections of classic radio shows from a number of collectors by buying me a coffee. That's that buy me a coffee function. I don't drink coffee, but you can buy me a coffee, and that'll go toward new collections of classic radio. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.